Hello, Salvadoran Warrior here. Today, we're going to talk about another class mod character. This class mod character is also from the Bloodborne series. Yes, while I was making the Crier Hunter review, um, this Bloodborne character also appeared on the Steam Workshop. And when I saw it, I got really excited because, it's Bloodborne. I want to play more Bloodborne characters. At the same time, subconsciously, I want Bloodborne to be on PC. However, men can dream, alright? I know it's not going to happen, but I want it to happen, okay? Until then, we got the Saw Hunter, at least. That's the name of the class mod character who's from the Bloodborne series. I am aware that there is another class mod character out there that has similar features, known as the Powder Keg, but I don't know if I want to make that review. For now, I picked up this one because, it seemed interesting, and I also have some Dark Soul characters on my roster of list, so, of course, I think at some point I'm gonna make like a From Software team, Souls team. So we'll see what happens. Based on how things go, we'll see. But until then, you already know the whole flow of this video. We're gonna talk about the stats. We're gonna talk about the resistances, combat skills, camping skills, and my final thoughts. So, without wasting any time, let's get started. Before I start talking about the base stats, there is something that you should know. When you do pick up the Saw Hunter and you go into like a random dungeon, he will get a disease. However, this disease will become very beneficial. That is the Hunter's illness. As you can see, it reads, immune to the Crimson Curse. Through the Hunters carries themselves with the strength and agility of a beast. They have mastered the sores, retaining their humanity and resisting the call of the blood-fueled cravings. What this means is that he isn't gonna get inflicted with the Crimson Curse, and I don't think you can get rid of it. Yeah, even if you get the disease, you can't cure it either. It just becomes part of you. And at the next week, you get all these crazy stats. Because in the beginning, you'll get like weak resistances. I guess we're pushing forward here. But when you do get the Hunter's illness, you get like a big boost of resistances. I can't really tell you the numbers. All I can tell you is that your disease will be boosted up a little bit, but you'll get like a huge resistance on blight, small resistance on movements a little bit. You won't be able to bleed. You'll be able to disarm traps very well, and debuffing may or may not happen. Keep in mind, death blows will always be the same, and stun, it's kind of high. Overall, thanks to Hunter's illness, you'll get this amount of big boost. As for the stats, you get a slightly huge HP. You get a slightly huge boost of dodge. Crit is naturally high. Damage is okay, but the speed is also pretty high too. 9 points of speed. That is really fast. So obviously, this character is really, really good and can be very, very good as a frontliner. And to everyone's surprise, he is treated like a frontliner, not a backliner like the Crier Hunter. So without further ado, let's get into the combat skills. Okay, so first up is the Bloodletting Teeth. It can be used in positions 1, 2, and 3, and can hit the enemy's positions from 1 and 2. It's a melee hit, obviously, with an accuracy base of 110, crit of 11%, and on hit will inflict bleed by 3 points for 3 rounds. Pretty good. Pretty good. I think what's insane about it is the crits. Now, as you notice, it doesn't show any damage penalty. So I'm assuming based on the base stats, you're gonna be doing damage ranging around from 11 to 19, which is really, really insane. And based on the trinkets that you give to boost the crit, oh yeah, that 11% is going to skyrocket, and you're gonna see crits more common than ever. So this move is super duper good. I recommend it. Just so you know, if the enemy's bleeding, there's another follow-up to a combat skill that is also really good. Into the Wounds is a combat skill that can be used in positions 1, 2, and 3 and can hit positions 2, 3, and 4. Again, it has an accuracy base of 110, and this time there's a damage mod of -15, which is fine. The crit is still insane, 11%. And if the enemy is bleeding, you'll do a 50% boost of damage. So if you're using the Salt ability, Bloodletting Teeth, and you combo it with this move on your next turn, the damage will be pretty crazy. Don't expect to hit the back row unless you run a team that's doing bleeding, because if you run a crew like the Flagellant to make the back row bleed, this move will come in handy very well, and it should take out the back row like very easy. There's also other combat skills that he has, but I don't want to, let's go into it right now, right? Let's say you don't want to use the Flagellant and you want to just use something else for your strategies, but you want to use this move. Well, you can use this combat skill. The Saturite Knife is a combat skill that can be used in positions 2, 3, and 4 and can hit both positions 3 and 4. Accuracy base is 105, so the accuracy is pretty okay. Damage mod is 66%, so it's kind of weak, but you can still do pretty decent damage. Crit mod is at 1%, which is fine because it won't hurt your crits completely, but on hit, you'll do a bleed of 4 points for 3 rounds, and on hit, you'll get buff for 8% of crit. So that is already like insane. You don't have to worry about the negative penalty for your crit, because on the buff, you're gonna get the boost of 8%. So you combine this move, and on your next turn you use this, that back row should be screwed completely. But if that's not your strategy and you want to like screw with the back row to bring them in the front row, this move, Heckling Gunshot, is a range ability that can be used in positions 1 and 2 and can hit either positions on the enemy side 2, 3, and 4, and has an accuracy base of 115, so that's super duper good. The damage isn't impressive because you got the mod penalty, the damage penalty of negative 75%, but the crit is at 4%, and it pulls the target on 2 positions. On hit, the target will lose -15 dodge, and that is also pretty good. I say, like, why not? This is also really good if you want to bring the back row to the front row, or if you notice like some of those enemies will use a move that will push them back. You can use that opportunity to pull them forward, make sure they don't leave. So this is really good. Can't really say anything bad about it, but it doesn't stop there, because the Saw Hunter has a Repose. The Hunter's Salutations is a move that can be used in any position, and he will give himself a +15 boost of dodge. He'll throw a mark on himself, and as the Repose activates, he'll have a 90% accuracy but low damage of 90%. But on hit, he'll stun the enemy. Now, this is a setup for something big. Just so you know, this move acts as a parry. If you ever played any Souls game, every game mechanic has a parry, and it's usually very beneficial if you get the timing down. For this one, you just throw it out there, and you got to make sure the enemy hits you, because once they hit you, they'll get stunned, and on next turn, you'll get to do this move, Visceral Attack. Similar to the Crier Hunter, only this time, it's not as crazy as the Crier Hunter, where it'll do a boost of 300% of damage versus stun. But I still think it gets the job done. Hear me out. Visceral Attack can be used in positions 1 and 2, and can hit the enemy's rows of positions 1, 2, and 3 to melee hit with an accuracy base of 115. Crit mod is 12%, and it armor pierces, and it'll push the enemy back by 2 positions. On hit, it will do 100% of full damage, but the target must be stunned. On hit, if they live, the stun will get cleared, and that's pretty much all I have to say. Yeah, do not throw this move without the enemy being stunned, because you will guarantee a miss every time. However, if you plan it out with this Repose, you should get the stun on your next turn, and it's gonna be insane. Really, 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 really insane. But yeah, the Crier Hunter might have a better Visceral Attack, but at least, unlike the Crier Hunter, where you have to wait for an opportunity to use that move, the Saw Hunter will have the opportunity to use this move next turn. And it's really, really good against skeletons. You don't know how many times I was pleased every time I use this move on stunned skeleton people. And the last move is this. It's an ability that can be used in positions 1, 2, and 3, and can hit the enemy's positions from 1, 2, 3. The accuracy base is 105. Damage is pretty low, but it will stun the enemy. Keep in mind, if you do plan to use this move, your torches will go down by 5. And if somehow, while they're stunned, they'll lose 8 points of speed, and that's guaranteed. So, going back to maybe some of the back row, if you find that opportunity, you can just get them with the stun, or have someone help you with the stun, and you'll throw this move out. And even though you'll lose 5 points of torches, you'll get that advantage of having the speed being lowered, so that way you'll get the advantage on them before they do the opposite. So it's pretty good. And don't worry about losing 5 points of torch. If you have the vessel, she'll be able to give you those torches back. Or if you have a crusader, they'll give you those torches. Or any other mod character that will give you a torch, you could put in your party. That way you don't have to feel bad on losing torches. If you're one of those crazy people that go on torches runs, this shouldn't really matter. Other than that, this move is really, really, really fun to use. So what about the camping skills? Well, like most mod characters, we don't talk about these, but we can talk about the other 4. And just like the occultist, he also has some camping abilities that can also raise stress onto the party, but there's a benefit to it. For an example, the Sungarian Collusion, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is a camping skill that is a time cost 3, and on the self only prevents a nightmare ambush with negative 20% chance of a party surprise and a 20 plus of monster surprises. However, all companions will receive plus 15 points of stress. Nightmare prevention, super cheap. Don't care. And not only that, I think I said this in previous videos, but increasing the stress onto the party during a camping hour shouldn't really be a big deal because you can just stress heal that back. A lot of Darkest Dungeon characters have really strong camping skills that can get rid of stress, including the Jester. I think the Jester has like the strongest camping skills of dealing with stress. But you know, this is good. Time cost 3. It'll give you enough time to like use other camping skills of your desire if you're gonna spend that much. So pretty cheap, really good camping skill. The next one is Gain Insight. It's a time cost 3, and for the party, it will ignore stealth until the next camping. However, everyone will experience plus 10 stress. This is not too bad either. A time cost 3 for the entire party to hit stealth-like enemies is really good for the end game. Do not use this camping skill in the beginning of apprentice or veteran dungeon runs, because you'll come upon like a rare sight of stealth enemies in the veteran part, and for the apprentice you're not going to see anything. But when you get to champion, however, or darkest, you're going to see a lot of stealth enemies. And if you don't have a character that has an answer to stealth, use the Gain Insight. That way you'll just hit the stealth enemy anyway. So it's really good. I recommend it, especially if you're going for the Colors of Madness runs too. Very helpful. Next is the Yarnum Spar. A Yarnum Spar is a time cost 4, and on the self only will get a boost of 5% of crit and 10 plus points of dodge. However, he will suffer 10% of HP, and as for the companion, they'll get the same buff of crit, but a plus 10 accuracy, and will suffer 10% of HP as well. These buffs last for 4 battles. It makes sense on why they're having a friendly spar, but at the same time, you know, if you know someone that is suffering from low accuracy like the leper, you can just throw this at the leper and he'll do just fine. But that could be said for any Darkest Dungeon character that is crying for accuracy. So I recommend it. It's kind of expensive, but that's okay, because, you know, whatever's. And don't worry about the 10% loss of HP, because by the time you get into your next dungeon battle, you know, you should be able to heal that easy. So don't worry about it. It's really good. Don't hesitate when using this. The last camping skill is Blooded Resupply. Blooded Resupply is a time cost 3, where only on the self will give himself a 10% boost of stun skill chance, a plus 10 accuracy on the Repose, plus the 10 accuracy on the Heckler gunshot, you know, the one that drags someone forward to the first position, and of course the stun ability. However, you will suffer a 20% HP loss. All these buffs last for 4 battles, so it's not terrible. If it was a debuff, I would be scratching my chin going, I don't know, man, maybe there's other options. But since you're just gonna suffer HP damage for that one time only, I think that's pretty good. Overall, the camping skills is really, really good and can be really fun to engage with your party, especially the Gain Insight. I usually throw this on time since you're constantly gonna have it until you camp again. So overall, he's a frontliner and he's a jack of all trades. Another jack of all trades character. I know most Darkest Dungeon class mod characters can pretty much get that title anyway. But at the same time, I feel like this was well thought out and there was a lot of inspirations taken from the game that was nicely transitioned to the Darkest Dungeon game. So, I really believed this character came from Bloodborne, somehow got into the estate of the Hamlet and just thought, oh shit, what do I do now? So, yeah, if you're a fan of Bloodborne, this is another character you should pick up. Really, really fun character. I'm also still begging on my knees for a PC port of Bloodborne. Please, From Software, hear my plea. Until then, that's pretty much it for me. That's pretty much it for this review. It's great. I love it. You guys should give it a try too. And, all that fun stuff, subscribe, like, comment, and, we're getting close to 50 subscribers, so that's pretty good in my book, and I'm very, very thankful for the views and for the class mod creators to hit me up. That's also been really awesome to experience. So thank you, and thank you. So you guys take care, stay safe, and since it's still a Bloodborne character, continue to fear the old blood.